Before I start, two important things. Number one is that this is not a lecture only for the children. This is actually for the adults and the children, because we have a lot of adults who are also addicted to social media. So this is for everyone in the community, number one. And number two is that I have chosen today not to use a table. And this is sort of like a teaching technique, because I teach in a school, and one thing that I generally do to keep the attention of my students is that I always walk around in the class. I always walk around, and then I always write something on the board to keep their attention. So that's why I'm gonna just be walking around little. So if I walk around anywhere, your eyes are gonna be following me, inshallah. Right? Yes or no? Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasuli Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. The way I want to structure my lecture today is in such a way that if you want to take notes and you want to remember my lecture, it will be very easy for you today. The subject of social media is something that when a lecture like this is given, many of us find it challenging to recall that lecture. What did the Imam say? What did the Ustad say? What did the Khatib say? So that's why today I want you to remember that there are three important things I'm going to be talking about today. Three. How many? I need your cooperation in all this. How many? Three. First one, we're going to talk about the word aid. A-I-D. I'm going to use this word aid as an acronym today. As what? An acronym. The second thing I'm going to be talking about is harms. And the last thing I'll be talking about is solutions or action items. So what's number one? Aid. Number two, harms. And number three, solutions. Let's start with the first letter in aid. A. This is in reference to the word asr. How do you spell asr? A-S-R, right? This is actually in reference to Surah Wal Asr. Now the reason I bring before you Surah Wal Asr is because today, in this day and age, social media has become a distraction for all of us. And that is also the letter D in the word aid, distraction. What has happened is that in every single era of time, in every single generation of time, there are some things that distracts a human being. For example, in Surah Al-Munafiqun, Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تُلْهِكُمْ أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَلَا أَوْلَادُكُمْ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Do not let your wealth, do not let your children take you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not let them deviate you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why did Allah mention wealth and children? It's because at that time, that was a distraction. Give you a second example. The Prophet Sallallahu is giving khutbah. He's giving khutbah. And let us remember that the khutbah of the Prophet Sallallahu was no more than probably 5-7 minutes at the maximum. But there is someone who came and they were selling some things in Medina. A caravan has just come in. Who's going to go and buy the merchandise? There are some people who were there, who stayed in the khutbah, but there are some people who left. What did Allah say in the Quran? وَإِذَا رَأَوْا تِجَارَةً أَوْ لَهْوًا انْفَضُّوا إِلَيْهَا وَتَرَكُوكَ قَائِمًا. They left you standing. What did they go for? They went for the tijara. They went for materialism. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He addressed that. At that time, while the Prophet is giving and he is delivering his sermon, the people are distracted by what? Business. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Wal Asr, He says, Wal Asri innal insana lafi khusr. Allah swears upon time. Now let's pause here for a moment and think about this. Allah swears only upon those things which are extremely important. Allah does not swear upon something that is not important. When Allah swears upon time, what does that tell us? Is time important or not? Yes or no? Yes, it is. And then He says, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ فِي خُسْرٍ, that very the human being is in a state of khasara. He's in a state of loss. What is Allah saying? In every single generation, in every single era of time, there's going to be something that will lead you to destruction, that will lead you to khasara, that will lead you to loss. Today in our times, there are many things that can lead us to destruction and khasara. But there is no doubt in the fact that today one of those things that plays a heavy role in our lives is social media. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. If Allah is talking about those distractions and He's saying, stay away from those distractions, if social media is a distraction in our life, what is Allah telling us? Stay away from those things that are distracting you. A. The next word is I. I stands for impact. For what? Impact. What did A stand for? Asr. Surah wal Asr. I stands for impact. What impact is social media having on you? See, when I remember when I was a small child, my parents would always tell me that TV is haram. TV is haram. Majority of us, when we go overseas to our countries, our respected countries, we always hear the same thing that they say, that TV is haram, TV is haram, TV is haram. But it depends on how you use television. See, someone can sit in front of television and use it as an educational resource, and they can use it as a beneficial tool, right? But there are some people who are going to use television in the wrong way. It depends on how you use television, which determines the outcome. Likewise is social media. Social media, for some people, it is a source of da'wah. They use social media and they put on a hadith on social media. They will share an anecdote on social media. They will share like a great advice that they've heard from a scholar on social media. For that person, social media is absolutely fine. See, social media is like a double-edged sword. It's like a double-edged sword. Either you can use it in the right way or in the wrong way. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He, giving us the life that He has, and how we are impacted by things around us, it is very important that we use social media in the right way. How is it impacting my life? If I'm sitting there on social media, and I'm just reading news after news, status updates, looking at other people, clicking the word like 100 times in one session, that means that social media is not for you. You are simply wasting time on social media. But if you're using social media to get the message across to someone else, like for example, last year, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Last year, when Israelis began to launch airstrikes against our brothers and sisters, one of the reasons that they did pull back, one of the reasons that the boycotts went into effect, and who helped these boycotts go into effect? Who got the news? Who spread the news around the entire world that we need to, that these are the companies that need to be boycotted? This, do that, do this, do that. How do we get that news? It was through social media, right? Yes or no? You saw in every single thing, it was informing us. So once again, what impact is it having on our life? I'm not here to ask you that question. You are the person that you need to ask yourself that question. How much is social media having an impact on you? Are you becoming a better person through social media? Or are you becoming a worser person through social media? Are you wasting time through social media? You can sit for 1 hour on social media. You can sit for 1 hour on Twitter. And you can tweet and retweet. You can share, and especially on Facebook, majority of the people on our Facebook who are our friends, believe it or not, we don't even know them. I It was not here at Epic. Alhamdulillah, it was not here at Epic. I went to a masjid one time. And right in front of me, a small kid, like I think he was like 12 years old. Just 12 years old. He gets up right after Salat. First thing he does, he takes out his phone. What does he do? Checks his Twitter. First thing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Let's see what Sheikh Twitter is saying. Okay? So Twitter. You know what he does? He tells his friend, he gets up and he's jumping. So I'm looking, I'm like, what is this person jumping for what? Did he just win something? Did he just get something? He told his friend, I have 10,000 followers. I have what? I have 10,000 followers. Social media has taken over us. It has taken over us. People have 950 friends on Facebook. Over 1,000 friends on Facebook. And you don't even know the person's name who's praying next to you in Salat every single day. You don't even know the people. How do you know if they're trustworthy or not? How do you know if they are actually true or not people? That's something that we need to ask ourselves. How much of an impact is it having upon us? So one was A, one was I, one was now is D. Distraction. Respected brothers and sisters, remember that Shaitan has taken an oath to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he was dismissed, what did he say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? لَآتِيَنَّهُمْ. Now if you are a student of the Arabic language, you know that this noon at the end of this verb, لَآتِيَنَّ with a shadda, it means most certainly is used for emphasis in the Arabic language. Like لَأَفْعَلَنَّ هَكَذَا وَهَكَذا. I will most certainly do it. Here in Shaitan is saying to Allah, لَآتِيَنَّهُمْ. I will distract this person. I will come to this person. From where? مِن بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ. From the front. وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ. From behind. وَعَنْ أَيْمَانِهِمْ. From his right. وَعَنْ شَمَائِلِهِمْ. From his left. Meaning that I will distract this person as much as I can. Because that is what Shaitan does. Shaitan, he distracts us. You know, like when a children, like when you want to get, when you want to distract a child, you put some toys out, that child goes and he keeps on playing with those toys, right? It's like a psychological effect. He keeps on playing with those toys and he gets distracted. In the meantime, what does the mother do? She goes and she's cooking. What does the father do? He goes and he's doing his own work. The child is engaged, right? This is what Shaitan is doing to us. He's distracting us. He's putting that social media out there for us, and he knows that it may be our weakness. It's our weakness. But Shaitan is putting us there, that you know what? You stay engaged with that, well, I'll go and I'll deceive someone else. And I'll come back and check up on you after 1 hour. Okay? After 1 hour, when you're tired of social media, then I will distract you with something else. This is what Shaitan does. His lifelong mission is to distract the human being, to put the person in the state of khasara. So when we talk about social media, three things to keep in mind. Three things to keep in mind. Number one is the surah wal asr. Are we headed towards khasara or not? Look at my schedule, everyday schedule. How much do I depend on this? That's a question that we need to ask ourselves. I stands for impact. Is it having an impact on you or not? And D is, are you being distracted over and over again? So this is the word aid. What's the next thing I will talk about? The harms. See, when you talk about social media, once again, you can use it in the right way, but you can use it in the wrong way. Majority of the people are using it in the wrong way. There are going to be some spiritual harms, you're going to have psychological harms, and you're going to have social harms. Let's talk about spiritual harms first. Even though television is something that may not be considered as social media. But even when it comes to television, respected brothers and sisters, we have to closely see what our kids are watching on TV. When I was growing up here in the United States, you know what I used to watch? I used to watch Tom and Jerry, okay? I used to watch Pink Panther, okay? I used to watch some of these cartoons that used to come on. Like I remember when I grew up, I was like a big Transformers fan. Because we used to watch a lot of Transformers, okay? Optimus Prime and Autobots and Decepticons. Well, I remember all that. Now at the same time, keeping in mind is that if you compare the cartoons of the old age, like 15, 20 years back, those same cartoons, the same characters, and many of those cartoons today, there's a lot of adult content in them. There are some messages, hidden messages, within these TV programs that we're not fully aware of. These Disney cartoons that our kids are watching, believe it or not, they're not healthy for our children. They're not healthy for our children. They're teaching immodesty. I know, a cartoon that was very much famous, Tarzan. How many of you remember Tarzan? Always half naked. Right? Always half naked. He's walking around with a shirt all the time. I ask you, when kids are watching this, what message are they getting from this? What message are they getting? To expose our bodies? What does the modesty in Islam teach us? To keep yourself covered as much as you can, right? Islam teaches us haya. Media is teaching us immodesty. When we see all these other cartoons, like Dumbo, Dumbo was a story about an elephant. But there was one movie about Dumbo where can you believe it? But this is something that they show in the children's cartoons, that he drinks, he gets drunk, he hallucinates. What message is going to our children? When they see about Snow White living with 7 men. Think about it. It's a psychological effect on our children. It's really a psychological effect on our children. The cartoons, the Disney cartoons that our kids are watching. Think about this. Even like just a general movie. I'm going to be very honest with you. Okay? There was a movie that came out a few years ago. It was called Ice Age. How many of you remember just Ice Age? Okay. Now you know why. Okay. About a huge mammoth. Okay? Part 1 is about protecting a baby. And then why is it that in part 2, he has a girlfriend? What does children's cartoons have to do with girlfriend? Not only that, but in part 2, he has a girlfriend and they have a child. What does it have to do with children's cartoons? I don't know. But it is these kind of things that put these ideas in our kids' mind. And that's why I keep on saying that these things, they have an effect. They have a psychological effect on our kids. And that's why I always say, know your kids' media. Know what your kids are watching. I know people that they make it a point that if their kids want to watch a movie, first they will see the movie, they will get the reviews of that movie, and make sure there's nothing wrong in that. Then after that, they will let their kids watch it. They'll let their kids watch it. But please, when it comes to social media, when it comes to television, don't just let your kids just watch whatever there is out there. Because it's a dangerous world out there. You have no idea. It's a dangerous world out there. There are so many other things I want to mention right now. There are like some, these hidden messages even in Sesame Street. Even in all these cartoons that we see, there's always like this hidden message in there. Okay, there's always this hidden message. So we have to be very, very alert about this. Something else that we have done on social media, and this is not everyone, these are just few people, but it's something that to be aware of. We've heard the word muhajira, right? What does muhajir mean? Or muhajir? What does muhajir mean? Immigrant. What does the word mujahid mean? What does the word mujahid mean? Huh? Mujahid. The Prophet Sallallahu, he asked his Sahaba, you know who a mujahid is? And they said no. And he asked, do you know who is the most despised person to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? They said no. The Prophet ﷺ replied, it is the man who has committed a sin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala conceals his sin overnight. But the next morning he goes and he announces it before the people that I have committed this sin. This person is called what? A mujahid. Someone who is extremely despised in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now today on social media, what do people do? They want to tell the world, I have an announcement. Last night I did this. And all these people, they're like thumbs up, like, putting on comments, oh, you're so cool, man. You're so cool. Man, you are a man. Really? You might be a man before the other men, but you have no respect before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are despised before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if Allah despises me, it doesn't matter how many likes and thumbs up I get on Facebook, or how many people retweet my tweet. It doesn't matter, because it matters what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thinks about me. Keep these things in mind. What you do stays to you. People on social media, you know what they do? They go and they spread their family's problems on social media. My brother this, my parents this, my that. People will say, and people are not naive. When you go on social media and you say, you know what? Brothers should be like this. And parents should be like this. Who are you talking about? You're talking about someone in your family. You might be upset with someone in your family. You need to go and take care of it within your family. Social media is not to announce to the entire world your problems. Social media is for another purpose. If you have a problem in the house, you keep it in the house. You don't need to announce your problems to the entire world. Some other problems that we have, some other problems that come from social media. Being ungrateful. You open up Facebook. You have a lot of friends. And remember, the more the friends, the more you read about their status updates. Let's say you have 1,000 friends. And it's summer vacation. They're all gone with their families. I'm here at this hotel. I've just checked into this hotel. No one cares to begin with, okay? No one cares you just checked into the hotel. Or no one cares you're eating what plate of rice, and no one cares, okay? But I just went here, I went there, I went here, I went there. Now a person is sitting there in front of social media, and they're thinking to themselves, either whether it's, there's Instagram, whether it's any other social media. There's pictures people sending on Instagram too. I was here, I was there, selfies. I'm not going to get into selfies right now, but people who are addicted to selfies, they have a psychological problem, scientifically speaking. There are people who just selfies everywhere. Even eating food. Look what I'm eating. Why? Why do you have to tell the entire world? It's a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you. Enjoy it. You are out with your family. Why are you so obsessed with telling the entire world what you're doing? Why are you obsessed with that? Put one picture, fine, that's it. Every single moment of your life, where is the privacy in your life? Where is the self-respect of your life? So first of all is that when we look at all this, a person becomes ungrateful. They're having fun, they have this, they're here, they're there, they're here, they're there. And where am I? I'm sitting in my living room. I've not gone anywhere throughout the entire summer. What happens? A person becomes ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then what does the person do? Okay, so you know what? They're getting all the attention, right? If all these people are putting something on social media, they're getting the attention. So what do I need to do to get attention again? Let me put something on Facebook. Let me put something absolutely outrageous on Facebook or on Twitter, okay? And then you know what happens? Especially for people who crave attention. See, children in itself, they crave attention. Why do children do these wrong things at home? Because they're looking for attention from the parents. When they know that my parents are not giving me attention, you know what happens? They'll go do something they will do something wrong. Because that is the only way I'll get the attention of my parents. Well, adults are no different too. They'll go and they'll put something on social media, something on Facebook. And you know what happens? 5 minutes go by, they're going to again go back. How many likes, how many shares? 1 hour later, how many likes, how many shares? How many views? I put a video on Facebook. How many people have viewed that? You know what you're doing? You are absolutely in need of attention. If you are in need of attention, whose attention should you be trying to seek? Whose attention should you be trying to seek out? Whose? Who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is whose attention you should be seeking. Through different a'mal, there are so many things that there's a hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu, hadith Qudsi, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when a person, he does the nawafil, then I begin to love him. When I love someone, that person has my attention, right? Do I just love anyone? If there's a person who I don't even know, do I love them? No. I will love only someone if they have got my attention. When we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a gathering, Allah remembers us in a nobler gathering, the gathering of the angels. Do we have the attention of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yes, we do. Should we care about the attention of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Absolutely. Should we care about other people's attention? Absolutely not. We shouldn't be carried about who's giving me attention, who's not giving me attention. If I have the attention of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I am absolutely pleased. That's all I need in life. I want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to care for me. Lastly, I'm going to share with you about social media, something that's very, very important. See, people are going to go on social media and they're going to share, which is wrong first, they're going to share their details about their life. This is about me, so forth. This is what I like. These are the songs I like. These are the sports I like. You know, when you set up a Facebook account, they ask you all these questions, right? Where did you study? They put your whole life out there on social media. But you know what happens after that? And then they will say, put your pictures. So you go into your photo gallery and you put all your pictures in there. The pictures that are supposed to be online and the pictures that are not supposed to be online. Sisters, same thing. Pictures without their hijab on social media. Now what happens is this. I want to share with you a hadith of Rasulullah. In fact, two hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu. First one is a hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala an. This is in Sahih Muslim. The Prophet Sallallahu says, if someone looks into your house without your permission, if someone is violating your privacy, and you strike him, and because of you striking him, he loses his eyesight, he becomes blind. The Prophet ﷺ says, you are not at fault. You are not to be blamed. You are not at fault because you did not do anything wrong. First hadith. Second hadith is in Bukhari and in Muslim. Hadith narrated by Sahal ibn Sa'ad radiyallahu ta'ala an. A man came to the house of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was a hole in the wall, or a hole in the door. The man, he was looking inside of the house of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam at that time, sitting in his home, he had like the end of an arrow. The end of an arrow is a sharp object, and he was just just scratching his head. Just scratching his head. The person, he came inside later on. The Prophet was informed, he came inside. The Prophet ﷺ told him, if I had known you were peeping through that hole and you were looking through that hole and I had this in my hand and I knew you were there, even though the Prophet ﷺ is so compassionate, the Prophet ﷺ is so loving, he cared about his ummah, he loved everyone in his ummah, yet the Prophet ﷺ says, I would have stabbed you in the eye. I would have stabbed you in the eye. When we go into other people's profile, that is violating people's privacy. Do you like for people to come into your house and see what's going on? Or do you enjoy your privacy? Tell me. You enjoy your privacy, right? Yes or no? When you put yourself out there on social media and you put wrong pictures and you put things that you would like for it to be private information, first of all is you have done wrong. But the next thing is, for us, for other people, you should not be going into anyone else's profile. You should not be going into anyone else's profile. I know this sister is on Facebook, let me go and check out her profile. Let me go and check out her pictures. She did wrong by putting her picture without a hijab on social media, but you are no different. You are no different. You going and watching and seeing and being so, you want to see something so bad, you are violating someone's privacy. You are violating someone's privacy. That person has done wrong. Now let's just say a person puts their on a status update, okay? Let's say someone has put up their picture on a status update, and you are scrolling through, your Facebook account, and that picture comes. What do? Just ignore it and go forward. Ignore it and go forward. You don't need to go there and see, oh, you know what? First seeing is halal, okay? You know what they say? Like, they say in our countries, Pehli nazar maaf hai, right? The first time you see something is haram, it's forgiven. But you know what they do? Like, first seeing. That is not right. So these are few things to keep in mind. You don't want to put yourself out there, and not only that, but you don't want to violate anyone else's privacy. So these are some of the harms. So we've covered aid, we've covered harms. Last thing I want to share with you, what are some of the action items? Right now, I want you all to take out your phones. Let's just do an action item right now. I want all of you to take out your phones right now. Let's go, come on. All of you take out your phones. You guys, young guys, you take out your phones too. I know you guys you may have, right? Come on, everyone take out your phones. I want you to do one thing. For 2 days, just turn off your notifications. Turn off all your notifications. Your email notification, your Facebook notification, your Twitter, your Instagram, your Pinterest, anything that you have, just turn it off. It doesn't mean that it's deleted. It means that it's just off right now. See, let me tell you one thing. First thing is that we have to basically turn off our notifications. You know what happens? There's a notification on Facebook. I gotta see what's in there. So you open Facebook. Then you turn off Facebook, and then you see there's a notification for Twitter. Okay, I gotta see what's in Twitter now. There's a notification for emails. I need to go and check what's in my emails. We sit on our phone and we spend countless hours not realizing that the day is going by, our life is going by, and we're giving so much time to this. Once again, it is, in some ways, is how it comes down to how you use it. First thing I want you to do is just turn off your notifications for 2 days. And ask yourself, has there been a difference in your life? Have you given less time to your phone or not? You be the best judge. So that's the very first action item, is turn off your notifications. Number 2, unfriend, unfollow, and unsubscribe. What did I just say? Unfriend, unfollow, and unsubscribe. Unfriend is with what? Facebook. Unfollow is with what? Twitter. And unsubscribe? YouTube. When you keep on subscribing to YouTube also, you get every single video that comes on, you get a notification. If you are subscribed to a series on YouTube, a TV series, every single time there's a video out there about that TV series, you're going to watch it. If you are hooked on and you are addicted to one TV show, you are going to be restless until you watch every single episode of every single season. And if you have reached the limit of all the seasons and the series is not over, it's going to eat you inside. When is the next episode? When is the next episode? When is the next episode? Do not let social media take over your life. Do not let YouTube take over your life. Today, if there are people on your Facebook that you don't know and you have never benefited from them, unfriend them. If you don't know them, then why are they your friends? If there are people on your Twitter account that you follow and you have benefited from them, fine, khair. But if there is no benefit, then unfollow them today. If you have subscribed to some certain accounts on YouTube and is not benefiting you, then you need to unsubscribe today. Second action item is unfriend, unfollow, and unsubscribe. Third one, start hanging out with real friends instead of virtual friends. Start hanging out with friends, real friends, instead of virtual friends. You know, when we go and we visit each other, I've seen this happening. People are just on their phone all day long. We all have this problem some way, somehow. At times, I may have the same problem too. But a lot of times it's the Masjid emails, by the way, okay? If you see a lot of times with my phone, I'm checking Masjid emails, okay? But on the other hand, you see people sitting down, and it's just, instead of people coming together, people don't want to leave their home anymore. Why? I'm fine at home. I will sit on my couch 2 hours, watch YouTube, go through Facebook, go through Twitter, Instagram, and they'll just sit there. Long time ago, people went out. They explored the world around them. They explored the world around them. Today, everyone wants to sit at home in their own corner of the house with their own phone. Their phone connected to a charger, and they just have hours after hours. Stay away from that. Last thing, an action item. During family time, there is no gadgets allowed. There are no gadgets allowed. Few things I'm going to tell all the parents over here. First of all is, you should not be giving your children more than 1 hour of social media or YouTube, anything combined a day, not more than 1 hour. For that 1 hour, besides that 1 hour, the rest of the time, all the tablets, all the phones are going to be put in one place. No one has access to the tablets. Today in our homes, every person has a phone. There are 3-4 tablets in our homes. 2-3 laptops in our homes, and then even on top of that, we have 2-3 desktops. Stay away from that. Stay away from all of that. When you have time in the family, when you are sitting down as a family, the other day, someone sent me a picture. They have gone to visit their grandmother. Okay? Gone to visit the grandmother. Grandmother sitting in the middle. It's an L-shaped sofa. Grandmother sitting right in the middle. On one side, you have the father, which is her son. Next to the father or the husband is his wife. So these two people are sitting on one side of grandmother, and on the other side there are 5 children. You know what I saw in that picture? Father is talking to his mom. Mom is on the phone. All 5 kids are leaning back against the couch, and they're on their phone too. When it comes to family time, it is only family time. Talk to each other, please. Talk. T-A-L-K. Talk to each other. Communicate with one another. Talk about something random. If you have nothing to talk about, make up something to talk about. But talk to each other. Communicate with each other. Another picture I saw. A great idea. People went to a restaurant. When they went to a restaurant, 6 people went to the restaurant. They all put their phones in the middle of the table. The very first person to pick up their phone to check up their notifications is going to pay the entire bill. The very first person is going to pick up that phone is going to pay the entire bill. And guess what? They made it an agreement. We're going to eat like we've never eaten before. So that means you order so much food, and we're going to wait for the first person to pick up their phone. The first person who picks up their phone, they're going to pay the entire bill. Now you will see who's going to pick up their phone. No one's going to pick up their phone then. You're going to sit down and you're going to talk to each other. When you go and you spend time with your family, talk to each other. Communicate. People come to me so many times, I have a communication problem with my children. I cannot communicate with my husband. I cannot communicate with my wife. Why are these problems occurring? It's because you never communicated when times were fair, when times were great. Now you only communicate when times are bad. When there's a conflict between you, when there's a fight between you, only then you communicate. You're supposed to be communicating on a day-to-day basis. The Prophet Sallallahu, every single day after Salat al-Asr, he will go to each of his wives, and he will sit down with them for a while and talk to them. How's everything today? What's going on today? Do you need anything? He would talk to each one of them. The other wives of the Prophet ﷺ, they would make a note. What did the Prophet ﷺ do at their house? What did he do at their house? They were eager to know. They wanted the Prophet ﷺ to come and sit with them. And the Prophet ﷺ, he would go to each wife's house and he would sit with them and talk to them. How many times would he sit down with his own children? Talk to them on a day-to-day basis. When it comes to dinner time, when it comes to nighttime, see, the kids go to sleep early during the school days. The kids go to sleep they go to sleep early during the school days. Before they go to sleep, you have dinner. On the dinner table, there's no phones allowed. No phones allowed. No phones allowed, absolutely. No matter who's calling you, okay? Even if Barack Obama is calling you, you don't answer it, okay? You put the phone on the side. How many times your phone text message after text message? I don't care. We're sitting on the table and your attention should not be there. When you're sitting down at night, talk to each other. What happened in school today? Tell your kids what you did at work today. What's wrong with that? Tell your kids what you did at work today. You went to the masjid, share with your kids what you heard at the masjid today. The imam said this, the khatib said this, the ustaz said this, there was a guest speaker, he said something very amazing. I want to share this with all of you. Communicate with each other. So 4 things that we have to do. What's the very first thing that we have to do? Action item? Come on. Turn off what? Notifications. Number 2. Unfriend, unfollow, and unsubscribe. Number 3. That was the 4th one. Hang out with real friends then compared to virtual friends. And the last one is during family time, what book? Okay, you missed the 3rd one, okay. Okay, someone's checking Facebook. Okay, so we keep these things in mind. Look, it's a challenge for all of us. It's out there. It's around us. We can't escape it. But the most important thing that we can do is that in these kind of times, we can limit ourselves. We can limit ourselves. We can put a restriction on ourselves. We can be hard and tough on ourselves. And you know what? People ask me, I spend 2 hours on Facebook every single day. What am I supposed to do? How do I limit that? You know what I told that person? It's very simple. It's absolutely simple. First keep 1 hour. Okay, if you're going to minimize from 2 hours, If you have a problem that you're spending 2 hours every day on Facebook or on social media, first you got to take baby steps. Okay, you got to take baby steps. I'm not going to tell you, you know what, from 2 hours go to 15 minutes. I'm not going to say that to you. I'm going to say